Graham Foster made an unexpected decision in tonight's episode, as Moira and Kane continued their efforts to uncover who was behind the string of mysterious fires at the farm. While viewers are already aware that Kane's teenage son Kyle is responsible, his involvement has remained hidden so far. Earlier this week, Kyle overheard a conversation between his father and Cammy about his recent absence from school. Kane explained that Kyle had become too focused on repairing his golf. However, Kyle misunderstood the discussion and took it as a sign that his father no longer enjoyed spending time with him. At the same time, Graham was looking into the recent fires when he came across Kyle watching his vehicle burn. After noticing the teenager slip a lighter into his pocket, Graham quickly realized he had found the person responsible. He then hid Kyle in his car just before Moira arrived and saw the burning vehicle. Although Graham sympathized with the teenager's emotional struggles, he warned that if Kyle failed to admit the truth himself, he would be forced to tell Kane and Moira. In Tuesday's episode, Moira remained focused on identifying the culprit, while Kane searched online for a replacement car for his son. Later, Moira encountered Graham in the cafe and revealed that she believed he was shielding someone connected to the fires. She argued that there was no way Graham could have failed to discover who was responsible, suggesting that he was either protecting the culprit or was somehow involved himself. Graham insisted that nobody was targeting Moira and claimed the incidents were aimed at Joe instead, adding that he had already dealt with the matter. Unfortunately for Graham, Joe overheard the exchange. Once Moira had gone, he immediately demanded answers about who might be targeting him. Back at the farm, Graham admitted to Joe that he had invented the story but still refused to identify the person he was protecting. He simply stated that some individuals deserve another opportunity to make things right. After finishing school, Kyle approached his father and appeared ready to reveal something about the fires. Before he could speak, however, Moira interrupted and announced that Graham had already discovered the arsonist. Later, Graham met Kyle at the hide, where the teenager thanked him for keeping his secret from Kane and Moira. Kyle confessed that he wanted to tell the truth, but felt overwhelmed by guilt over his actions. When he questioned why Graham had defended him, Graham replied that he believed Kyle was a good young man dealing with difficult circumstances. However, Graham also made it clear that setting fires whenever he became angry could not continue. Drawing from his own experiences as a young person, he explained that Kyle needed something positive in his life that could provide direction, discipline, and purpose. When Kyle asked what he had in mind, Graham simply responded, "Leave that to me." What could Graham be planning for Kyle's future? A disturbing new storyline is set to unfold in Emmerdale next week, as Charity Dingle becomes the target of a shocking assault. The dramatic scenes mark a new low in Dr. Todd's sinister behavior, with Charity facing a traumatic ordeal that could have lasting consequences. According to sources close to the show, the events will leave Charity deeply shaken. Details surrounding the attack remain unclear, but it occurs shortly after Todd reassures her that the secret surrounding the baby is safe from exposure. Despite appearing supportive, Todd is merely keeping up a deceptive act. Before long, Charity finds herself caught up in a horrifying incident that leaves her emotionally scarred. The storyline begins with Charity desperately trying to gather enough money to satisfy Todd, who is threatening to reveal a devastating truth about Layla during Sarah Sugden's 21st birthday celebrations. Struggling with overwhelming guilt, Charity turns to alcohol for comfort. Her emotions eventually boil over, leading to a public confrontation with Todd in the village. The encounter raises questions about how Todd will respond after being challenged so openly. At the time, Charity is heavily intoxicated and recklessly dares Todd to expose everything. Her actions highlight just how fragile and desperate she has become. Surprisingly, Todd appears to retreat and abandon her threats, seemingly unwilling to ruin Sarah's special day in front of everyone. However, appearances prove misleading, and her true nature soon resurfaces. During their conversation, Todd attempts to justify her blackmail scheme using her own warped reasoning. She even admits that she enjoys watching the chaos unfolding in Charity's personal life. Todd then suggests she intends to keep the secret hidden, creating the impression that their conflict has come to an end. Yet this apparent peace agreement is merely a deception, as events soon take a much darker turn when Charity is attacked. Sources describe Todd as an exceptionally cruel individual whose actions continue to escalate. While viewers have already seen her manipulative and ruthless side, the latest developments take her behavior to an entirely different level. The consequences of her actions are expected to affect Charity for a long time, leaving emotional wounds that may not heal easily. As the aftermath unfolds, questions remain over whether Charity will open up to those closest to her about the ordeal. There is also growing uncertainty over whether Todd will finally face justice for her actions or continue posing a danger to everyone around her. Lydia Dingle faces heartbreak next week when she becomes convinced that her husband, Sam, is secretly involved with Laurel. After hearing concerns from Kim about Sam's suspicious behavior, Lydia starts to believe he has been unfaithful. What she doesn't realize is that both Sam and Laurel are hiding completely different secrets. According to insiders, Sam's recent sneaking around has attracted attention. Kim senses that something is going on, and while trying to help Lydia, unintentionally creates a situation that threatens to tear their marriage apart. The confusion begins when Sam arranges another private dance practice session with Ross. He is determined to improve his skills and surprise Lydia with his new moves. Too embarrassed to admit the truth to Kim, his employer, Sam invents an excuse to get time away from work. However, Kim quickly becomes suspicious of his explanation. Elsewhere, the secret romance between Ross and Laurel continues to grow stronger. Ross is eager to stop hiding and wants to spend time with Laurel openly. Laurel, however, is becoming uneasy about how serious the relationship is becoming. What started as a casual and uncomplicated connection now feels much more significant, leaving her wondering whether she should end things before emotions become too involved. The situation becomes even more complicated when Kim spots Sam leaving Laurel's house. Surprised by what she sees, Kim questions why Sam would be there after previously claiming he had other plans. Believing she is helping a friend, she warns Lydia that Sam may be having an affair with Laurel, setting off a series of misunderstandings. Unknown to Kim, Laurel has only been assisting Sam with his dance lessons and has agreed to keep the arrangement secret, so Lydia's surprise isn't ruined. As Lydia struggles with the possibility that her husband has betrayed her, Ross is hoping to deepen his relationship with Laurel. However, when Laurel gently distances herself because she fears he is developing stronger feelings, Ross is left stunned. He becomes determined to persuade her that their connection could become something more meaningful. Furious and hurt by what she believes is Sam's deception, Lydia decides she can no longer ignore her suspicions. Wanting answers, she confronts him directly. Kim accompanies her for support, and together they head to the Woolpack, where they believe they have uncovered proof of the affair. Will Sam finally reveal that his secretive behavior has only been part of a plan to impress Lydia with his ballroom dancing? And could Laurel be forced to admit who she has really been seeing behind closed doors? With emotions running high, it remains unclear whether her relationship can survive the latest complications. Emmerdale is broadcast on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1. Episodes are also available to watch from 7 a.m. via ITVX and YouTube.